This is the ongoing story of one church leader's journey of moving his family to Cairo, Egypt, while struggling to stay connected to his church family back home in Virginia. Welcome to Meeting Mark in Cairo.
I cannot wait, though. I can't wait. You guys have no idea the things I want to show you in this podcast. The things that are here in Egypt. I want you to go along with me on this journey. I want you to be there with me so that we can show you the pyramids, the mummies, the museums, the place where Moses was, the place where Christ was when he was a baby, the place where Joseph was. Where did he live? How was it like? What's there now?
I'm here with Mark Hunter in his first podcast. And Mark, for people who may not know you, tell me who you are, and tell me about how this journey got started for you.
I have my wife, Patty, and I have 6 kids. And I am from the Northern Virginia area. Grew up in the shadows of Quantico Marine Base and the FBI Academy down there in Triangle, and grew up in the area there. And before I retired, I was a police officer in Fairfax County, Virginia. And then I went from there and became a special agent with the Department of State for 27 years and traveled. Out of that 27 years, I think I was living overseas 20 of those years. I believe that's the calculation it was. So traveling overseas to far-flung areas of the world is not new to me. I did most of my assignments in Africa, places like Zaire, Bujumbura, Burundi, and Conakry, Guinea, and Indonesia, Mexico, Iraq again, and some Washington and some stateside stuff. The reason I'm in Cairo now is my wife is with the United States Agency for International Development. And so she got assigned here to Cairo, Egypt. And so we grabbed all of our kids, all of our stuff, and we headed out here. Not all of our stuff. We had to leave a lot of it behind, but thank goodness the embassy's gracious enough to supply most of the stuff we needed. But everything out here, we've been here since August 1st of this year. And we're settling in, and we're having a good time here. It is an amazing country.
I know you were like a key leader in your church here in Vienna, Virginia, before you left to go to Cairo. What was it like for you to be like a key leader, and you were really an advocate for a new, fresh direction for the church, and you had a real vision for where this church could go, and then suddenly, in the midst of leading here, this opportunity came for you and your family. What was that like internally for you? And what was it like letting go of this church a little bit to explore what your interactions could be with this church from another continent?
Difficult. I can tell you now, when my wife Patty came home and said, because this bidding, they call it a bidding process, and it took months upon months and interviews, and it was almost like applying for a new job. So when she came home after the end of all this, the hamburger, the sausage was made, as they say, she said, we're going to Cairo, Egypt. And I immediately went, Cairo, Egypt. I thought maybe, we were not going to go, or maybe we'd get some more time in the States, or maybe we could get closer to the U.S. So I was not happy initially. And it was difficult because the things I was doing in the church, and also I have a small business that I run, but the main thing was the church. It really was, because of what you said. I was one of the elders there, and since you came in, Pastor Vinny and Pastor Coasley and some other folks in the leadership team of the church have come on board, I just saw the excitement of what was happening in the Vienna Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I was very, very excited to be a part of that. And I had bought in, and still do, full everything. I'd committed everything. My first thought was, what about me, and how am I going to do this? Well, accepted that, and we talked to you and Pastor Coasley and the leadership team on how I could continue my role but from, as we call it, Vienna East.
Right.
And that's what I was excited about. And then I got excited again. And then I did a lot of praying about it, and God answered the prayers. Every one of them about, how am I, you put me in these positions of prison ministries, of being an elder, and of some of the other responsibilities I have. And, he answered each one of those. And once I knew that, I was at peace. And I knew this is where God wanted me to be and wanted our family to be. So, the Israelites came here, and Egypt was a protectorate for the so that they could go on and do what they needed to do, or what he wanted them to do later in life.
Yeah,
So,
even Jesus took reprieve
right.
in Egypt when his life as an infant or a toddler was at risk. It's interesting. In a large part of this podcast, we'll be exploring about how in this day and age and through technology and how much the world has become a global marketplace that you can still serve a local church in Virginia from Cairo, Egypt. And that will
Mhm.
be a theme that we'll go through all of our episodes. But I want to go to a place that's still fresh in my mind. It's still September here. You mentioned you've been there since the first week in August. I remember the last time I saw you stateside. We just had a big celebration for your family. All your kids were, or most of your kids were there. Your wife was there. We cut a cake and we are eating and everyone was gathering around you and pictures would be taken. And yet at the same time, it's like we know you're going. And honestly, there's always going to be some reluctancy to believe this is real. Like you were such a fabric in the church, such a fabric of our identity and our direction. Um, and we intellectually could know you were going, but emotionally couldn't really process what it would be like when you're gone. And so I remember the last time I saw you, like we cutting this cake, we're doing these pictures and you went into the other fellowship hall. There's two of them. They connect, and you're with a group of people, and they were surrounding you. And I just knew that they needed whoever. I can't even remember who you're talking to, but I just knew that they needed to do their goodbyes as well. And you were very prone to pop by my office whenever, and so just going with that flow that was normal to me. I just looked at you and said, "Hey, Mark, I can see you're busy. I'll catch you later. Let's touch base before you go." And we never did. Um, because that's the reality and the truth about life, right?
Right.
So take it from that moment, and so I don't know what it's like when you walked out the church door that day, but I know that was my last moment with you and your family. What happened from there, and what was going on in your head?
It was chaos. I can tell you right now, the moving, we had just started moving. We had to rent the house. We were overweight, which means the stuff that they were going to put in storage, we had too much stuff. So it was just a lot of stress, to be honest with you. And it was a lot of praying for us. But walking out of that door at that moment, it was very sad, to be honest with you. And, with all this other stuff on us, because we're here for at least 4 years. And so not knowing that I wasn't going to see my family, my second family at the church, which is what it is. I mean, the relationships that we have, and knowing that I wasn't going to see you and see, everyone at the church every Sabbath, if not more during the week too. It was difficult. And it took an adjustment. It truly took an adjustment. Not just me. I mean, Michael, my son, was at Shenandoah Valley Academy and doing extremely well. They love the school, getting the Christian education, playing sports. And so, it was tough for him too to make that decision to come with us to Egypt and not stay at where he was very comfortable. and to put himself, he's a senior this year in a brand new school as a senior. But thank God, he's adjusting. And the rest of the family, though, I think, their ages and stuff, they were pretty excited for the new adventure, I think. But when we walked out of that church, left there, yeah, it was a sad time. It was really was. Um, and it was something that, you know, we're still having, problems with because we can't be there with my
So,
family.
so you walk out of the church. It's a Saturday, and I believe it's a Tuesday you're flying away, right? Um,
That's correct.
and you have that time in between, and your whole family went, or was anybody left
All
behind?
but my oldest, yeah, all but my oldest son, Tommy, who's at NYU, Stern Business School. So he's a sophomore there this year. But he came with us here for the first month and then went back when school started. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you're
But
so your whole family is going with you on this flight.
correct. Yes. And so the night before at the hotel, and we didn't get any sleep because we were packing and unpacking and repacking, and we had two dogs to bring. So at the hotel, I think we slept for about an hour. And then we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because we had an early flight. And we had to get like two or three Ubers, and a couple of friends came down with big cars and drove us over to the airport in the dark. So it was kind of the feeling was, we were escaping or something because it was under the darkness of cover. And so we get to the airport and we had so much luggage. Each child, I think we had 16 pieces of luggage. You'll see, I have a picture of that when we arrived in Egypt, of how much luggage we had. So we had to get all of that checked in, plus the dogs. But we got there fortunately early enough, and it was a period of kind of excitement because we were getting ready to go on this new adventure, and so we made it through the airport, got on the plane, and once we got on the plane, it was like, you could, because there was nothing else you could do at that point. You had to sit there, and you were on the plane, and and that was it. And then we were texting and sending some pictures to you, I think, from the airport. I think we did,
Yeah.
just communicating. But that was something too. And once we got on that plane, we knew it, as you said, we knew it was real. We knew it was happening because there is that kind of feeling of, yeah, I'm going to this place, it's a long way off.
Yeah.
But once you get on the plane and you actually take the action, then yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah. I think I would use the word denial. I knew you were going. All the other elders and leadership team knew you were going. But to a certain degree, there was an internal, maybe not intellectual, but emotional denial. Because in some ways, you were like, I couldn't imagine us without you because you were always the guy that was remembering the forgotten person. You're always the guy out visiting people that needed to be visited and not being asked to, just that's what you did. You really had a pastoral side to your eldership here and contributed to the, I might say, the heart and the soul of the leadership. And so there was that denial for us too. So you're on this plane, it's real now. Um, what's in your heart? What's in your thoughts? It's a long journey. It's a long flight.
Was excited for Patricia because she's the one that we were going out here for because it's her job. And I wanted to make sure that, there was a lot of stress going on for her. And because she has a very big job. Her job here is democracy and governance,
Right.
helping build relationships. I think she was speaking today in front of a um, women's group here, Egyptian women's group, who run small businesses. And, it's not hard. It's not easy, being in a Muslim country for the women to go out and have, and have these types of things. So they support those types of programs. That's just one small one. So she has a big job.
Right. you land in Cairo, and it's a different culture. It's a different country. It's a different continent, right? What was the culture shock like? You walk off that plane, you walk out of that airport, you're in a desert. What do you see? What do you experience? Like you said, it's a predominantly Muslim country. And yeah, give me just out of the door. I mean, I know you're an international traveler. You've covered that. But this is Cairo, Egypt. You walk off that plane with your children who haven't seen everything you've seen in the world.
Mhm.
Tell me the culture shock.
No, that's a great question because there is a culture shock. I don't care how much you've traveled or how many countries you've been in, there is a culture shock when you arrive. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. Most of the times it is. But we got off the plane and immediately you felt the heat. As soon as the doors opened and we walked up that walkway, it must have been 105 that day, or maybe 107. I can't remember. We left Washington, it was 99 and humid. So we get to Cairo and it's 100 and I think it was 105 that day. You could feel it immediately. And so as we're walking up the way, we get to the airport, make our way to the baggage area. Fortunately, the embassy's there, so they helped expedite us through everything. We got the luggage. Like I said, you see this big picture. We are standing by the luggage rack there, and it looks like a Mack truck full of luggage. And then we walked out. And the first thing we had to do was get the dogs out, and that was a big concern. I mean, for us because they had been on a plane for 10, 12, 15 hours, I think. And so we got them off, and so they could go to the restroom and refresh and get water because we were concerned about their health and well-being. So that was the first kind of concern that we had. Now, the second was, did all the luggage come? And
Yeah.
then the third thing, hey, let's get in the car and go. And I've got a video of us actually coming out of the airport. Just a short little clip there as we make our way to our house. And from the airport to the house, about 45-minute ride. So, we were sitting there kind of excited about where we're going to be living. We didn't know. We hadn't seen, well, we'd seen pictures, but you can't really tell. And we get here, and then we had what the embassy provides, what they call social sponsors. So people that have lived here before. And the individual that met us, him and his wife, he's in the consular section. He's the deputy consular section, which is a huge job. So they met us at the door. They were here at the apartment. They had set things up, bought some food for us. So we get into this really nice apartment. The next day, which was a day off because we arrived on a Thursday. Then Friday, he took us to where we buy groceries and got some things like that. And it was a surprise to us. You're talking about culture shock. That it was surprising when we went out and we went to a place called Carrefour. It's a French supermarket. It's like Kroger's of Europe and the Middle East. And so they have everything. And it was just, everything that you could think about. Everything. It was like a Costco is what it looked like to me. It had electronics section, clothes, food, anything that you want. I'll talk about the food. I don't want to get sidetracked, but the food is amazing here. I couldn't wait to see the Nile. So we go to, down to the Nile, Moses and everything being put in. I want to see where he was put in. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're working on that trip. And that'll be a podcast. But then, we did this trip on this boat, and it was in the late afternoon. It was beautiful. We had a nice meal, and they had dancing. They had belly dancers. They had all of this stuff that was really culturally nice to see. And
So,
then
so how do your children? I just got to jump in there. Belly dancing. I see in all your pictures like pyramids in the background. It's almost like a cartoon caricature, but it's real. So how are your children responding to this very different culture?
It's amazing. Isa, they called her up and she belly danced with them. And so it was funny. They were just the Egyptian people I found are just so sweet and wonderful. But they thought it was pretty cool. They were, all of them are really excited about it, I think is what you would say. Because, it's different. Egyptian people are just wonderful. I can't say that enough. They are so friendly and they're so nice. The thing, though, culturally, the culture shock too, there is very little English here, I would
Mm.
say. You go to Colombia, there's very little English there. But however, there's the way to communicate. Some they speak some, maybe not perfect, but they speak. Here, some people don't can't say hello. I use my phone. I have a translate on it, and that's how I've started to translate. You hit the record button, and it translates in Arabic. And I tried it the other day on an Uber driver, and it worked. So
Excellent.
that's how we try to communicate. So the communications is a little difficult. However, let me tell you this: Isabella, my 8-year-old daughter, she is picking up Arabic. I am telling you now, she is amazing. She's talking to the guards. She's talking to the people on the street when we take the dogs for a walk. She taught me how to say, "My name is Anna Ismi Mark." Shukran is thank you. Afwan is you're welcome. But she can say a lot more than that. She can actually have a decent conversation with them because she has to take Arabic in school. She's in 3rd grade. And so she's doing really well with the language, and I'm excited about that.
If you're there for 4 years, I'm sure you'll come home for
Yeah.
events and holidays and so forth. But she's gonna have. She said she's in 3rd grade.
Mhm.
She's gonna have 4 years of being immersed in an Eastern culture.
I see it as huge, huge. Um, what she's being exposed to now at that age, it's going to change her life for the positive. What do you mean change her life? Well, number one, she's going to be and understand a different culture. It's not all America. It's not all, hamburgers and French fries. Um, that there is another way of life. And so, she was in Colombia with us, but she was a little tiny. She was only a year and a half, and then she had to leave because she got sick, which you know the story. So we had to leave Colombia a year early, and thank God she's in recovery and everything's fine with her now. But to see her in the excitement and the things that she's being exposed to, the school is, and the reason it's such a big deal here, because it's a central part of everything that the kids do. For me, one of the concerns was the schooling. If they go to the school and they get bullied or they're not accepted or they don't have, a good connection there, that's most of their life here is the school. But the school is incredible. It's called the Cairo American College. CAC is what they call it. It is a huge campus. I forget how many acres. It's huge. And they have kindergarten to 12th grade. And they have 3 within the campus. They have elementary campus, kindergarten campus, elementary campus, middle school campus, high school campus. And of course, I've got Michael and Nico, my 2 sons. Michael's a senior, Nico's sophomore, and they take Spanish together, which is funny, which is a laugh. And they do that because they're lazy. To tell you, they're lazy. They speak Spanish enough, so they took Spanish instead of Arabic or something.
Right.
Anyway, that's a different story for a different time.
That's
But the
teenagers.
school has that's that's right. But the school has sports. Michael was big at SVA, Shenandoah Valley Academy, big in soccer, basketball, and baseball. Here, he's playing on the soccer team. He made the team. Let me give you a testimony, if I may. He had tryouts. The tryouts were Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Very, very, very competitive here. Very good players here. Extremely good. Most have played all their lives. The coach was a professional player in Europe and played for the Chicago Fire, I think their name is, in the United States Pro Soccer League. So that's a quality of people they have here. And that goes across the spectrum for the instructors too. But so Michael, they told him, so he went to him and said after the second trial, he said, I can't come on Saturday because we go to church. And the coach said, well, that's going to, that's not good. That's probably going to be a detriment to your making the team because they have tryouts. You have to make the team. So he said, well, we'll put it in God's hand. We prayed about it. And that was that. And so Patty and I went to a parent-teacher conference. And so he was one of the soccer coaches on the girls' middle school. And so he told Patty, because she went up to him and just mentioned, what Mike was doing and, what had happened. And he said, no, he didn't make the team. Oh, we went, oh, okay. Well, that's God's, it is what it is. That's what we have to do. Well, kind of find out 3 days later, no, he did make the team.
Wow.
They had told, yeah, because he wasn't really in the loop on this. And so, no, Michael, after just 2 practices, uh, against all odds, I would say, made the team. And we know why.
Right.
Okay. We know why. And now they played one game. He didn't play much in it. But the second game, I'll send you, I don't think I sent you videos of that, but I will. The second game, he played almost the whole second half and played very well.
Awesome.
So that was fun for him. But the school, getting back to that, I don't mean to rant, but the school, Danny, my seventh grader, spends almost all his time there. On weekends here, Friday and Saturday, he'll go to the school. And that's where they hang out. That's where they play. All of the facilities are open to them. They have a huge pool, the Olympic-sized pool. They have soccer fields. They have basketball courts. They have indoor, outdoor. It's just an incredible experience. They don't really have a cafeteria either, which is kind of cool. It's kind of like college.
Tell me about um church there. And when I asked the question about church there, um attending an Egyptian church, um
Mhm.
and also your experience back home with Vienna, um in being the host of the YouTube channel, and being, watching service back home, and being the person who's like sort of greeting people in the comment section, that sort of thing. And like so Egypt church, which would be in the morning for you, and then Vienna church, which would, because of the time change, would be in the afternoon or evening for you. And are they similar? Is church the same? Tell us about that.
Very good question. I think God knew too that I needed more church. So he gave me two, which has been fantastic. Yes, the church here is about 35 minutes from us. So it's a beautiful church. When we first went in, it's in English and they do Arabic translation for everything. And it really is a fantastic experience. It's a beautiful church. It's packed. It's got a lot of members. It's very active in pathfinders and adventurers. And the pastor is Colombian. There's some Colombians in there, but it's such a diverse mix of ethnicities and people from all over, from Africa. You've got people here from Africa, the Philippines. You got people Egyptian. You got Palestinian. You've got Middle Eastern, everywhere. So the church is outstanding. We love it. And then compared to the church here, it's very similar. It keeps the structure. It starts at 11:02, which was kind of cool, I thought. The main services. Everything starts at 9:30. The Sabbath schools start at 9:30, and then it goes through the same process that we have, with a few minor changes, but nothing like when they do the tithes and offerings and things like that. But they have a lot of music, as is customary for the Seventh Day Adventist Church, and they sometimes sing in Arabic, which is wonderful, and we just love it. We found a home here. The pastor and his wife are wonderful, and so yeah, just amazing.
Tell me about what your experience is in contrast to the local church, doing church the second time, but online with Vienna, and sort of being in the chat and seeing life move on, and you're not there.
It's outstanding because it keeps me connected. It keeps me connected with my brothers and sisters in the Vienna church. And so I get on there, we all greet each other, and we comment on things and just have a little chit chat and talk. And that, I really appreciate that. Now it's at 6 o'clock my time that I hop on there, which is 11 o'clock your time. But it is so nice to talk to people and be greeted and greet them. So I really enjoy that. So thank you guys for the chats. I appreciate it.
If you have, in 1 minute, if you could gather all your thoughts and all your experiences. Um, a net plus, a net negative, how you're feeling at this point in your transition.
Very positive, extremely positive. We have a great church. We found super friends here. We've got a great place where we're living. And, things are just going very, very well. My son, Tommy, in NYU, another positive thing, got an internship at Capital One. God is working in our lives. He's taking care of us. He's taking care of our family and doing, very good things for us. And we just are so excited. I cannot wait, though. I can't wait. You guys have no idea the things I want to show you in this podcast, the things that are here in each of them. I want you to go along with me on this journey. I want you to be there with me so that we can show you the pyramids, the mummies, the museums, the place where Moses was, the place where Christ was when he was a baby, the place where Joseph was. Where did he live? How was it like? What's there now? I can't wait to take you on this journey. It is going to. Where did Moses cross the Red Sea? Listen, guys, I think I'm excited about it, and I hope that you will come with me on this journey through this podcast. And I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you. And just for anybody out there that is a traveler, come to Egypt.
Vienna East.
Vienna East.